Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles.
My name is Kirk. Divisional round.
Divisional
Coming
round.
up.
Best weekend of football.
Seriously. This is the one I always look forward to. It's almost better than the championship games and the Super Bowl.
The way I get around it is I say divisional best weekend in football, championship day best day in football,
Okay.
Super Bowl best game in football.
Okay. So you just kind of cheat on each one.
Absolutely.
I like it. But, wild card weekend was all right. There were a couple good. One good game was Commanders Bucks. But
Yeah, that was the really good game. I still contend, Packers Eagles was competitive into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
With the Eagles worried that they were going to blow it. If if Ty Johnson doesn't get his little heel off the paint, the Broncos could potentially have had the lead going into the fourth quarter.
That was close. It was 13-6 late in the third.
It's people just kind of called those blowouts, but I experienced, I was into it for 3 quarters.
Chargers Texans was entertaining. The very rare blocked extra point return for 2. Gotta love it.
That was so Chargers. 3rd and 26. The game is going to be over. They're down by 2 scores. They're going to have to punt. They get a touchdown. There's life. The extra point is blocked and returned for a 2-point conversion by the defense. Unbelievable.
All that momentum just slashed away.
So today we're talking the AFC matchups, Texans-Chiefs, and the super hyped super matchup of Ravens-Bills.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the losers first. Just a little bit of here's to the times we fought aside. Closing time. Or, I don't know what I'm singing exactly. Take a tribute to the losers.
Yes. Even the losers get lucky sometimes.
That's true.
But not in this scenario. In this scenario, you are losers.
Yes. Let's start with the Chargers.
All right.
And I guess the top question on my mind is, does Justin Herbert suck? What the heck is going on?
I mean, I really can't explain it because the thing that keeps coming around is he threw more interceptions in that game than he did all season.
Yeah, 4 interceptions in the game, 3 for the 2024 NFL season.
And really, he was just getting pressured the whole game, getting hit from all the angles. I just don't think their strength of schedule was that good. And the Texans defense at home in a playoff game really thumped them. They threw them off. Not enough weapons. It was McConkey or nothing.
Yeah. Well, and it's a Greg Roman offense, which relies on and devotes resources to the run game.
Yeah.
And if the run game's not working, then what do you have?
And you hate these teams that make the playoffs.
I know, yeah.
I mean,
devote yourself to the run game. Congratulations on your wild card loss.
Right? You say it before the season even starts.
I know. I don't get why teams don't see this. Why do you think Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson are in the divisional round every single year?
Right?
It's not coincidence, and it's not their defenses, though Chiefs and Ravens both have a good defense, but still.
But it's not because they're just solely relying on the run game.
Exactly. Why do you think the good quarterbacks are always at the end?
I'm going back to Herbert's not a killer.
Truly.
He's just not that guy. He's going to go out there, win you that game. He's got the massive ego, the sociopath of a quarterback.
Doesn't have it.
Just it's a good competitiveness thing to have. He just doesn't have it. He's he's a role player playing at the most important position for the team.
Does Justin Herbert even want to win the playoff game? That's a very confrontational thing to do, to win a playoff game and break the Texans' hearts like that.
Yeah. He's already been paid. What's he care?
He doesn't look like he cares. I mean,
he's getting paid like he's been to a Super Bowl, and he's 0-2 in playoffs, and he's been around for a while now.
I feel like everything Justin Herbert does, playing through injury and all the stuff that they call heart, is just because he is just kind of a follower of the team.
Yeah.
Like the team is encouraging you got to play through guts, and he's loyal to his guys and to his team, but there's no inner drive. And of course, this is all like complete bullshit psychology from 2 podcasters, but I mean, how else do you explain 5 years with an elite arm, elite processing, eye-popping throws, even watching this game, the worst game of his career? Yeah, some of the throws look freaking good.
He's still got awesome talent, but he messes up at the wrong times. It's just do you want to win it enough?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that from him.
I'm bummed for the Chargers.
That pick six was dry. I mean, that absolutely just took the air out of the building.
Should have been 2 pick sixes. Stingley got tackled right at the end inside the 20, but should have been 2 pick sixes.
Terrible defensive blocking on that pick six. Should have been a pick six.
The Chargers are out. Another AFC West. The Broncos are out. Another game that I thought, I was surprised how bad Herbert's stats was because for all we just said about him, I didn't think it was like a horrific game. I feel like they were just pressing.
Yeah.
He doesn't show up for the big boy meaningful football, and then once it's time, it's desperation mode. He pressed and all that stuff happened.
Got an 86-yarder, and that's most of his stats.
For the Broncos too, I left the game impressed with Bo Nix.
Yeah,
but then when you just say it as there was 1 touchdown at the beginning and then no points from there, you go, well, couldn't have been that good.
Yeah, like what happened?
Do you think the Broncos overperformed against Buffalo?
I thought they actually played a pretty good game because that was 13-6 late in the third. That Ty Johnson touchdown on a 4th down.
That would have been a turnover if it got overturned.
That would have been a turnover on downs. Broncos got another shot to tie this thing up. Like the game was close at that point.
Yeah.
They held their own for a while, and then the floodgates came. But I thought they did overperform what I was expecting. Yeah. It just they couldn't get anything going on the ground, and you can't just rely on Bo Nix and like Cortland Sutton. I mean,
you can't.
They just didn't have the weapons there, and Marvin Mims wasn't doing what Marvin Mims did down the stretch. So,
same theme, overmatched.
Yeah,
no weapons.
It was a good effort from them, but they're not there yet to compete with the Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah, CBS comparing Bo Nix to Josh Allen. Your thoughts?
Just no.
I can't believe that Bill Cowher did it and then Tony Romo did it.
Yeah. They always love to do this crap. I mean, I hate this stuff. It's like somebody wins a game and they're like, is he the next Patrick Mahomes? Yeah. You're like, come on, man.
Nance pushed back on it, saying there wasn't the size there. But Josh Allen is Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a athletic freak. Amazing rocket arm, ability to run the ball. Just because Bo Nix got some rushing yards.
Yeah.
He's a dude. Get off of it.
He's not. That's not the comparison. You got to find a different one.
I have a new theory for Bo Nix. Going into next year, I'll talk about it.
Ooh.
Bo Nix is the modern day Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
So he's not directly Kirk Cousins because he's got so much mobility, but to play quarterback now, you've got to be able to be mobile.
You got to have something. Yeah.
So Bo Nix, I mean, we're watching his ceiling right now. This is probably the best that he'll ever be. He may have a better surrounding cast at some point.
Yeah.
Though props up Denver offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
You're wondering like what happened here. It's partly that.
They held their own.
Bo Nix is the modern day Kirk Cousins, and we'll see some good seasons and we'll see some medium seasons out of him.
I like that comparison. I've
turned around, and that's a compliment coming from me. I was absolutely down on Bo Nix. Don't ever listen to my 2024 NFL draft because I also hate Jaden Daniels. And
we were wrong about pretty much everything.
All right. Final team that lost for the AFC, the Steelers. And the big talking point out of here is Mike Tomlin. Is his legacy just blowing playoff games?
I mean, he hasn't won a playoff game in a while.
Yeah, I think it's 2016,
2017. 2017. Yeah, because they lost to the Jags after that?
They lost to the Jags in 2017.
Okay.
So the last win must be 2016. Yeah.
Dang. So it's been a while. Mm-hmm. But, come on. This isn't what Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh just rides or dies with their coach. Mm-hmm. Until this guy hits the wall, they're going to keep him.
Yeah.
Until he decides, I don't want to be in Pittsburgh, they're going to keep Mike Tomlin. He's still a good coach.
Yeah.
But they don't have a quarterback. I mean, everybody got on Russell Wilson and said, oh, yeah, he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback after he won 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
And then we saw normal Russell Wilson again.
Yeah.
Justin Fields wasn't the answer.
Yeah.
So
and neither was Kenny Pickett, and neither was decrepit Ben Roethlisberger.
Right?
He hasn't had a quarterback since Roethlisberger was good, which is probably around
the last time he won a playoff game.
At time. Yeah.
So how much can you really blame him? And Pickens wasn't 100%. I mean, that hurts him. T.J. Watt was playing through injuries. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a great coach who's doing the best with the talent he has.
Yeah,
he just hasn't been able to hit in the draft in a while.
Yeah.
And, just keep riding with him. What's the problem with making the playoffs every year? And I mean, that's an issue.
This is exactly my point. First of all, I hate that they say he's lost his last 6 postseason games. Don't do that to him. Don't add that sixth one in there.
Right.
Just because he lost the AFC Championship in 2016 after winning 2 playoff games. Everyone but one team loses their last playoff game. So don't roll that one in there to make your number sound better. Don't lump 2016 in there. That was a successful season.
Stat people.
Yeah. But also, is Brian Daboll better than Mike Tomlin? Brian Daboll didn't lose a playoff game this year. He didn't go 0-1 this year in the playoffs.
He didn't make it.
Yeah, but I know, but like that's my point. Tomlin is 0-4 this decade because he went 4 times.
Yeah. Losing to the Chiefs.
Which one of
losing
those,
to the Bills, losing to the Ravens.
Which one of those games should he have won?
Right?
You think he should have beaten Lamar Jackson in his 3rd MVP season?
Yeah.
On Saturday? Which one? Do you think he should beat Josh Allen last year?
Right.
In Buffalo as a 7 seed?
Should you have beat Kansas City a couple years back?
So we're both on the same. There are a lot of Mike Tomlin. That's a big story right now. Should Mike Tomlin be fired and blah, 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 blah. I don't want it.
I feel like this is more media.
Yeah.
And like there's less people in Pittsburgh's organization that are even paying attention to this. They're just like, oh, talk whatever you want. We're keeping Tomlin. He's winning us seasons. He's at least getting us to the dance. We got a chance.
Yeah.
So you got to go with that. You can't pull an Eagles, fire Andy Reid, and then he goes off and wins 3 Super Bowls with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want that.
Great point. Mike Tomlin gets fired. Who's the top of the top coach that any team could get? It's then Mike Tomlin.
Exactly.
Right? Everyone would be salivating. They'd be celebrating in the streets if they got Mike Tomlin. You were exactly right. And a Mike Tomlin, Russell Wilson Super Bowl run next year would be very fun. Narratively rich.
Yeah. That's if they keep Russell.
We don't know.
Fields and Russell are now free agents again.
Right. So
let's see what they want to do.
This was a kind of it's funny that the Broncos basically paid Russell Wilson to play in the wild card round on Saturday. But
I love it.
Well, they got $30 million dead cap for Russell Wilson. So
that's rolling to next year too.
Yeah. So reason for future hope for both of those teams.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the games. Divisional round. We start with the Houston Texans traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes hasn't thrown a pass since Christmas Day on Netflix.
That's it. That's all he's done.
I don't know what he's been doing since then.
Hasn't thrown a pass this year.
Hasn't thrown a pass.
Not even in practice. He's fully rested.
Hasn't thrown a televised pass since before Christmas because Netflix is not television. Anyway.
This gave him plenty of time to rest that ankle. I think everybody's already forgot that he had the ankle injury. So because he's got like 4 weeks now.
That was before that like quick turnaround, right? They played a Saturday, and then that Wednesday of Christmas. So the ankle injuries right before that,
and he just got to rest it. Should be looking healthy. Should be mobile.
Over under is low, 42-point over under. Kansas City favored by 8.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a big line. The history of these two teams, Houston Texans have played Kansas City twice in the playoffs. They played them in 2015. One of the times that Houston actually lost their home opener wild card. They lost 30-0. Blown out by the Andy Reid, Alex Smith. Yep.
Man.
That was the one where they returned the kickoff. Kansas City returned the kickoff. Niall Davis.
Okay.
Very first play of the playoffs. Chiefs returned the kickoff 7-0.
Touchdown. Game's over.
And that was it. They started Brian Hoyer. The Texans did.
Oh, okay.
That was the year of Hoyer and Whedon and Yates and stuff. I mean, it was a bad year.
It's ugly.
They lost 30-0. The other game, not much better for Houston in terms of memory, in terms of pain. The 2019 divisional matchup. A famous game in the lore of Kansas City for sure.
Oh yeah,
they'd not yet won a Super Bowl. They were down 24-0 to the Texans in the second quarter, including a blocked punt touchdown, looking like they're going to lose their season. Deshaun Watson is going to be the superstar, not Pat Mahomes. It felt like that for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
and then the classic. I don't even know if you call it a comeback. It was garbage time by the middle of the third quarter.
I know.
Pat Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns, 4 of them in the second quarter. Damian Williams ran in 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. The Chiefs were up 41-24 by the 4-minute mark in the third quarter.
I forgot that was quick.
It was it wasn't even a 24-point comeback. It was garbage time by the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Insanity.
Man.
So Texans fans can't be feeling great about coming back here into Kansas City.
Yeah. And with another team, another young quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, and that history is not looking pretty for you.
Yeah.
And it's tough to go into Arrowhead defending champs, defending back-to-back champs. Mm-hmm. And you got Stroud and Nico Collins.
Yeah.
And Joe Mixon hopefully getting you another week of production.
Yeah. And even Mixon, I mean, there's just nothing behind that offensive line.
Yeah.
Their just run game is, I mean, the Texans offense was actually really bad. I mean, they got the pick six, and then the almost pick six. But if it wasn't for the Texans defense setting them up, and the Chargers just blowing it over and over again, I don't think that was a great performance. It was just a couple good drives, mostly to Nico.
Yeah. And I mean, really, first half until that last drive.
Yeah.
Was awful.
The 99-yard drive.
This thing was 6-0. It looked like they weren't going to score a damn point. Mm-hmm. They fumbled that snap, get a 34-yarder to some no-name whoever.
Yeah. And then, you're talking about the scramble out.
Yeah. And that kind of got them going. And then, the defense kind of held their own in the second half. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Offense did not look good.
Yeah.
And now that defense is going to be on the road in Arrowhead, that is troublesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. How confident you've been kind of bigger on the Texans defense.
Yeah.
I left the wild card game still not that impressed. The pass rush looked good on TV, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, but was that Chargers just blowing it? I mean, it looked sloppy to me. It didn't look like a defense dominating, a juggernaut offense.
Yeah. I mean, Chargers had a young offensive line, overperformed this regular season.
Yeah, so they put in a lot of tough positions.
Yeah, and I like Will Anderson. I think he's good. Danielle Hunter's been a great signing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, and the no-name cast in the back.
Except for Stingley.
Yeah. But this has all been, D'Amico Ryan's a defensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. That's why he got that job. He's done a fantastic job so far. But you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, when you got to go play the elite, it's trouble time.
Do you think the Chiefs offense is going to snap into gear? Have they been saving it up? Everyone's been suspecting Travis Kelce. He's just been kind of coasting with 800 yards, 3 touchdowns this season, just kind of coasting for the three-peat. Go for it. Pat Mahomes as well didn't even make the Pro Bowl, which initially shocked me. But then who would you put him over? Mahomes, Burrow, or Allen? None of them,
right? I mean, you have to. But I mean, I kind of do think they've been sleeping, and they started sparking up towards the end of December there. I feel like they're, Hopkins is a good distraction. They kind of been getting Kelce a little bit more involved. Mm-hmm. Juju Smith-Schuster's back. He's always a sneaky weapon.
I like Hopkins making a couple big plays. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool story too.
And Pacheco's just kind of been, slowly just making his way back. He's been splitting carries with Hunt, but expect him to come out fully healthy.
The rest for both of them is really good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think that they've been picking it up just a little bit. They have been waiting for the playoffs to really show some cards. And I know people have been saying it and they're conspiracy theorying it, but I kind of believe it.
Yeah.
If I'm Andy Reid, sure, we can make the playoffs playing, half-assed football, be 15-2, and have the 1 seed and then go into gear.
I feel like, they got so lucky on so many victories, and they just took that luck. Okay, we can coast a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to try as hard now.
Yeah.
We can make it.
Take what the football gods provide and coast on that a little bit. The defense, the Chiefs defense is the reason they won last year.
Yep.
Really should get more talk. We shouldn't be waiting, 6 minutes into the preview to talk about the best unit in this game, which is the Chiefs defense.
Yeah.
And I felt bad after the Super Bowl preview talking about Mahomes, sure.
Mahomes,
three big
Kelce.
drives, a field goal touchdown, legendary drives. But I mean, the defense made it a game.
They held their own.
The Chiefs defense beat the Ravens. The Chiefs defense beat the 49ers last year.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
They held those teams down until Mahomes came in and made the final,
and he gets the glory
in
overtime.
But the Chiefs defense, but are they the same? I mean, they're down a couple corners from what they were last year.
Yeah.
They haven't looked as dominant, but you could also say a similar thing. Are they kind of coasting for this run at a three-peat?
I think there's some more holes in there than there was last year. Mm-hmm. So the secondary especially. That's kind of where you're worried if you're the Chiefs.
Yeah, they were so deep.
Yeah.
And they've kind of lost a lot of their depth over the last couple of years, poached by other teams. This happened to our Seahawks 2013, 2014, but
right. And we've been kind of ragging on the Broncos and the Chargers not playing a high strength of schedule. Well, the Chiefs kind of had the same thing.
Yeah.
So they had the same AFC West whatever. The Chargers and Broncos are kind of little flukes. Got into the playoffs, so those aren't battle tested. I don't know if the Chiefs have really been battle tested. Because the game against the Bills, when they lost that one, I was like, that something stinks right there. Ooh. And I don't know if they were just kind of just milking this season away and just waiting for the postseason. But I haven't really seen the defense play anybody really good and just demolish them.
Yeah, so I could see it from the side that we don't maybe know how much worse this year's defense is than last year's defense, which was extraordinary and won them a ring.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried really about the core of this team being battle tested. They've been through so many playoff games, they're going to be fine.
Not battle tested.
Yeah. Okay. How would the Texans, what does it even look like if the Texans win this game?
I know.
So, because I am trying to find a way to shock the world and pick the Texans. That's right. The world is listening to this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Every country.
Yeah. Every
tuned
country,
in.
Even Uzbekistan is listening right now.
Especially Uzbekistan.
Here's one reason I think it's going to happen. Texans are 0-5 in the divisional round.
Okay.
Sports is random. Sports does not continue. Sports is not symmetrical. If they lose to the Chiefs, the Texans will have, in their history, lost twice to the Patriots, twice to the Ravens, and twice to the Chiefs in the divisional round. I've seen too much sports to know there's going to be one random win in this subset. And it's got to be this one. That's my case.
That's where you're stepping into. It can't be a symmetrical stat.
Can't be okay. Seriously, how do they win? What's it look like?
It's CJ Stroud going off.
Like he did against Georgia college football playoff.
I'm just he has to have the game of his life.
Throw it up to Nico, baby.
Nico's got to get 150.
Yeah. Nico's got to get 200, Kirk.
Robert Woods got to be playing well. It's like somebody else has to step up. Mixon's got to be running well. That offensive line has got to be solid. And you're hoping that the Chiefs are rusty from all the rest. Mm-hmm. I remember being a Peyton Manning fan, and when we sat the Colts sat Manning for the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, you're just like, oh no, here we go again. We got to wait till the divisional round. And they come out, and that first half is ugly as crap. The timing is off. The hitting, you haven't played football for a while.
Yeah.
So you're kind of hoping that rust in the first half. CJ Stroud's dialing things up. You get some touchdowns early. You hope that Will Anderson is bringing some heat. Maybe the Chiefs lose an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, the
tackles have been shaky. Yeah. Mahomes has been under a lot more pressure this year.
Yeah.
So that could be an area. Anderson or Daniil Hunter, strip sack fumble somewhere. So okay. I mean, I'm seeing a shape here.
It's certainly not likely, but there is I'm giving a 10% chance that the Texans can win this game and shock the world, especially Uzbekistan.
All right. Well,
but I mean, you're going Chiefs, right? I'm going Chiefs. I have to.
I want to go Texans so bad. I just feel like it's just due. Something weird has got to happen. Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, huge plays, huge game. The Texans are pulling this off in a wild sequence. It's going to be turnovers. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a shock. We're going to be zooming in on Travis Kelce's mustachioed face, wondering what the heck is going on.
I do like this.
Texans are going to win. Kathleen is listening to this, and she says no.
If there's any random team
that's going to win this weekend.
It'll be the Commanders.
Okay, we'll talk to you at the NFC episode.
It's all about her bet. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I will point out that the last team that went for a three-peat was the New England Patriots.
05.
05. Lost in the divisional round.
But won in the wild card round. They didn't lose their first game.
But they lost in the divisional round to Jake Plummer and the Broncos. Somebody stupid. Something happens sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm not throwing it out there. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that the Texans are completely dead in the water. Don't put your life savings on the Chiefs. There's a chance that the Texans get this.
I'm doing this for the glory.
I like it.
I'm doing this for the Jake Plumbers of this world, and also to try and get some glory out of your perfect 6-0 week. Last week you picked all the games. Now you have 50% already.
Yep.
A chance to do a perfect bracket, the first time since you did a playoff bracket in 1994.
Oh yeah,
where you correctly put the 49ers and Chargers.
And everybody thought I was an idiot. They said, "Look at this kid."
How old were you in 94?
Say 87, so I'm 7 or 8.
7 or 8. That's a high point of your life.
Yeah. It was all downhill from there. Everybody knew it. They're like, man, you used up all your sports karma.
All right, we got 10 minutes now to talk about
the best game. Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, over under 51.5.
Oh, yeah.
Ravens are favored by 1 to 1.5. It's kind of a
Ravens are favored.
Ravens are favored.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is, Sunday night when the casinos first opened and put their lines out, the Bills were favored by 1.5. So the line has moved about 2 points. You know, it's obviously those are very close.
Yeah.
Line's moved about 2 points. And I see these articles. What does Vegas know? They know something about Zay Flowers, or is there some sort of Bills injury that we don't know about? You know what Vegas knows? When they put that line up, people bet the Ravens.
And so they changed the line.
I mean, it absolutely astounds me how many people don't get. If everyone was stupid and bet the Cowboys all the time, the Cowboys would be favored.
Yeah.
Because they want the money equal on both sides. They're not actually and academically measuring the probabilities of victory.
Yeah.
They are measuring how to get 50% of the money on each side.
Exactly.
Okay.
What does Vegas know? They know how to make their money back and gain a little profit on it. That's how they still own a casino.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. Only one matchup in their history, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. It was the 2020 wild card. Early one for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Not quite the pedigree they have now. At the time, it was more like,
Lamar hadn't really been there.
These two, Lamar hadn't even really been in the playoffs. Only the one loss to the Titans.
Yeah.
And Allen was just coming off his first good year, really. 2020 was the first time Josh Allen looked good.
Yeah.
That was a COVID year, of course, so we weren't even really trusting it.
Didn't count.
It wasn't a good game. It was 3-3 at half. And then Allen threw a touchdown to Diggs, and then Lamar threw that pick six, and he got concussed in the third quarter, and the Bills rolled from there. Ultimately, that was a gas leak year. COVID, no fans, don't even remember it.
I don't count it. Brady didn't get a seventh.
It's nothing like now. Now we're the 2 MVP. Brady didn't get a seventh.
I had to slip it.
I know, that is funny. Now we got 2 MVP candidates, Hall of Fame career trajectories.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is more like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, or John Elway, Dan Marino. This is the best possible divisional matchup you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's as good as Allen Mahomes last year.
Right? It's exactly what you want. 2 of the best playing each other, duking it out on the divisional game just to try to go take down the Chiefs next week, unless the Texans pull that upset.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think everyone's kind of favoring the Ravens, just because of the way the Ravens beat the Bills earlier in the season. But that was back in week 4, folks.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Long time ago. Bills have Amari Cooper now. Their defense is a little more healthy now.
Bills were kind of looking past them a little bit.
Yeah.
They were kind of blown out 3 teams in a row.
Yeah.
Ravens needed that win bad
right
after losing their first 2.
And Derrick Henry was super fresh at that point. I mean, he's a little more banged up. The season is worn on him, although it doesn't look like it. He still looks like he's 25 out there.
Derrick Henry looking fantastic.
Seriously.
But a lot of linebackers are chasing Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's what happened during the Steelers. You'll watch some of those Henry runs and watch the linebackers, and they are paranoid about Lamar Jackson. I've been comparing it to whack-a-mole. Like for those linebackers, what the heck do you do? I guess it's whack-a-mole if the moles whacked you hard.
Yeah. They came out and just slapped you every time.
Yeah. What do you do? I mean, if you go after Lamar Jackson, then it's Derrick Henry. If you go after Derrick Henry, it's Lamar Jackson.
And if you split up, I mean, you're not going to get him.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. If it's one guy, you're not going to stop either of them because it's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. You can't send one linebacker at Lamar Jackson, especially expecting him to tackle him.
Either you're getting bowled over or you're getting juked out.
So it's a math game. It's unbelievable what the Ravens have rolling here.
Oh, yeah.
But one holding penalty and their drives get derailed.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams are frustrating me with their dedication to the run. I respect it. I think it's important. It slows down the game and kind of lets you do your boa constrictor vice grip over here.
Yeah.
The Bills were dominating the Broncos. The announcers were talking, "Oh, this is the best rushing performance of all time."
For the Bills?
The start of the Bills, the 100 rushing yards on their first 2 drives was the best all time in the playoffs.
Man, take that, Thurman Thomas.
They were losing at that point. You just did the best you could possibly do, and you were losing. And if Ty Johnson's heel goes out, I mean, you would have been losing into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then for the Ravens, they had trouble putting away the game. If it wasn't Russell Wilson.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, or if it wasn't George Pickens, or they missed some key plays, but the Steelers had a chance back into that game, back into that comeback.
Yeah.
Which we know has been a problem for the Ravens.
Yeah.
And this is what you do when you devote everything to putting up big rushing stats. The other team is just there still.
Still just hanging around, waiting to pounce.
Yeah. And so I guess I'm conflicted. I don't even know what my point is, really. It's just these two teams are dedicated to the run, but they have two, wild Lamborghinis that they will need to turn to. And I hope that makes good television. I hope we see Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen start slinging it back and forth.
Yeah.
Because each other are on the other side. I don't want any more of this boa constrictor stuff.
Yeah. I feel like the Bills have a better chance to do that. And I felt like there were times last week against the Broncos where they just kind of kept the reins on a little bit.
They're just maybe not calling their full playbook.
Yeah, they're just like, you know what?
Okay,
we can win this game. Let's have this one be Cook.
Okay.
Cook's going to take this one.
I mean, I could see that as an argument.
We're waiting for Allen next week. We're saving all our little tricks, our whatevers for the next 2 weeks. Okay. We got to play the Ravens. We got to play the Chiefs. That's what they're thinking.
Okay. I could take that as an explanation, and the Ravens too.
And you're like, sure, James Cook, here we go. 10, 12 carries next game. The rest is Josh Allen. Just here. We're just shotgun, little play action. We're going this way. We're going that way. We can open it up. The Ravens are worried about a little bit more passing like that. They really need to run the ball. Because with Zay Flowers dinged up, didn't even play last week.
Yeah.
Right?
I think he's going to play this week, but I'll double check that.
I mean, he's going to be a little rusty. There's no real other receiver I trust out there. Rashad Bateman, my butt.
Mark Andrews
is getting old. He's a tight end. He's not that quick. Isaiah,
not a game changer.
Yeah, they're working on Likely and Andrews, but all of that is also off of the run and play action. There's no over the top, we can just go 5 wide and just smoke you that way. That's not what the Ravens are going to do.
Yeah.
But their running game is good enough. It's way better than the Bills. I mean, it just is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's better than anything.
Right?
This may be one of the best running games of all time.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see, that they had Steelers' number. They knew they had it. They both kind of held their cards close to the vest.
Yeah.
If like you said, Ravens can't go 5 wide and all that stuff, but if they're only down by 7 or 10, if this is a back and forth game, they may not have to.
Yeah.
They may be able to still keep balance.
And that's what if I'm the Bills, I'm spreading it out. I'm trying to go up early. Make the Ravens play from behind.
Yeah.
And just worry them. That's kind of what happens with the Ravens. When they get behind, they're an emotional team.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson he has had some just real
they want it back quick.
Tantrums. Yeah. And that used to be the story of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it is anymore. He is definitely more comfortable, I think, just within the offense and it's probably easier to trust a good running game because he has one for the first time ever.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like he's just a little bit more checked down, and not go crazy.
Yeah.
And when they do ask him to go crazy, he still can.
Yeah, and I think that might be the difference maker. I mean, I know we haven't talked defense really here, but I don't know if we have to. I'm hoping for a high scoring game.
Yeah, me too. Oh, me too.
I want both these teams to slice and dice the crap out of each other.
Over under 51.5. Let's go way over.
Yeah, right.
Okay, who we picking?
Man, this one's been back and forth in my head the whole since it's been out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I really don't know. But I feel like, because usually my go-to is who's the better coach. But I'm like, McDermott, Harbaugh, I'm like, that looks pretty even to me. And then I'm like, okay, quarterback, who's got the edge there? You're at Allen and Jackson.
Can't be better. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm just going to say that Josh Allen's a little bit better than Lamar Jackson in the clutch.
Yeah.
I think just clutch-wise, when the game's close and tight in that fourth quarter, I can see Lamar making mistakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just see Allen this year. He just has a different type of determination on him. And I think that's why I'm going to go Bills. I want to see that Chiefs-Bills match up in the championship.
I want to see that as well. Texans come visit Buffalo. I'm kidding. I'm also going to go Bills.
Okay.
I think, it's in Buffalo. We didn't really talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's just another. I don't think that I am very trusting of Lamar Jackson on the big stage. It's kind of cliche, but the way that he handled that AFC Championship last year against the Chiefs, he was melting down.
Oh, yeah.
And he threw a little fit in the Steelers game early on.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like that he's not learning that lesson about, the game is long and don't press.
Yeah.
And he did end up pressing. He took a lot of hits in that game. I'm a little worried, and we're deciphering between two elite quarterbacks, so it's definitely not a knock on Lamar. He's a freaking great player.
Yeah.
Also, the Bills fans know when to chant MVP. They do it, after the touchdown, and not while the offense is driving. Do you see Lamar Jackson just waving the crowd and John Harbaugh chastising the crowd? Like, Bills fans know when to chant MVP, so that is going to be the edge.
Because the fans. Football's too. You can't have symmetrical stats for the Texans.
That's correct.
And the Bills fans know when to chant.
It's a game of inches out there.
Your podcasting analysis on point today. Absolutely on point.
All right, so we both got Buffalo on that one.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm going Chiefs Buffalo. I'm trying to keep this streak going.
I'll say
the perfect prediction of playoffs.
I like it.
It
Don't get scared though. The NFC one. Let's see if you'll surprise me.
I know, right?
But I'm rooting for Chiefs Bills. That would be the more entertaining AFC title game.
Yeah.
All right, my name's Miles.
I'm Kirk.
We'll be back tomorrow with the NFC. Oh.